Today, we are going to be building the stunt biplane. Hi everyone, my name is John, and thank you so much for joining me. Today, we are going to be building the stunt biplane. Feel free to follow along and pause, rewind, or even skip parts as needed. Before we get started, I would like to just take a moment to talk about the importance of safety. When we work with or around tools, we need to be very careful to show respect for potential hazards and take our work very seriously. Safety glasses must be worn. You only get two eyes, and these will make sure you get to keep them. Okay, let's just talk about the tools you'll need to complete this project. The first thing you're gonna need is a pair of safety glasses. We gotta make sure we protect our eyes. The next thing you'll need is a hammer. You need to make sure we have something to hit those nails with. We'll also need some glue. This is how we make sure that wood stays together. The other thing you're gonna need is something to spread the glue. I've got a popsicle stick here. You can use your finger or even a paintbrush. It's also really helpful to have a little piece of paper towel, just so you have something to put your glue on before you spread it on your wood. Okay, let's get some glue ready for this project. Glue is actually what helps to hold your wood together. The nails are only there just to hold your wood together until the glue dries. The glue is really what makes the strongest connection. First, we are going to carefully match the first two pieces. These are the two pieces of the main body. And we need to make sure before we attach them that we make them flush. That just means that all our sides are nicely aligned and they're not mismatched like that. We don't want that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Yep, it looks like everything seems to match nicely. What I'm gonna do now is I think I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on there and we can get going. When you're putting your glue on, you gotta make sure that you spread it across the entire piece of the wood. Spread that out. We don't want it dripping all over the place, but we do want it covering the entire piece of the wood. And that way, when we put our two pieces of wood together, all the parts of the wood stick together rather than just the parts that are touching the glue. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody just put a little strip of glue across their wood and then put it together. Well, guess what? The only parts that are actually gluing together is that little tiny strip. We want to make sure the entire thing is being glued together. And we're gonna make sure they align and we've got them all in the right spot. Then we can nail them together. Let's put some nails in this. Remember, we are using the long nails for this part of the project. We do have long nails and we do have short nails. There's two different lengths. Make sure for this part of the project, you have the long ones. Okay, let's get some nails in that. You'll notice on your project, a little loud to talk over top of the hammering, isn't it? You'll notice on your project that you've got these little holes already drilled in your project there. It's really helpful. Those are called pre-drilled holes. And what they allow us to do is get those nails in the perfect spot, and they also help to protect our fingers so we can move them out of the way once we've started hammering. It's a good way to practice and get really good at hammering. Let's get this last one in. Okay, before I go any further, sometimes you bend a nail, and that's okay. If you bend a nail, just stop. Don't keep trying to hammer it down because all you're gonna do is get frustrated and it's actually gonna make a little bit of a mess. The nail's gonna bend over and it's gonna get knocked into the wood and it won't look as nice as it would otherwise. So let's bend this nail over and I'm gonna show you how to deal with that. I'm gonna take the back of my hammer, this is a claw hammer, and I'm gonna slide the two claws on either side of that nail, just like that. And then with the nail in between the two claws, I'm gonna grab my hammer, I'm gonna roll it this way, and there you go, the nails come out. Just simple, using a little bit of leverage. Okay, now we are going to take our engine and attach it to the body of the plane. When we look at our engine, you'll notice that there is a cutout, a little rectangular cutout right here. That cutout is actually something called a mortise. Then when we take a look at the body of the plane, you'll notice that there is this tab that sticks out of the front of the body. That part of that plane there is called the tenon. If we put them together, it actually makes a special joint called a mortise and tenon joint. Okay, now let's apply some glue on this and attach them. We're gonna wanna put glue everywhere that other piece of wood's gonna touch, right? When you're nailing this, if you need a friend to help hold this up, it might be a good idea. I'm gonna place my engine right on top, fits nicely. And then I'm gonna take one of my small nails, put it in the pre-drilled hole. I'm gonna make sure this is nice and balanced. Good. Get the other small nail. Good. Okay, we've got the engine on. Now using the small nails and glue, I'm going to attach the bottom wing right here, and I'm going to attach that to the bottom of my plane. You can see it goes in this slot right here. Okay, let's just make sure it fits in there nicely. We'll dry fit it. Remember, dry fit means that I'm going to just check to make sure the pieces fit together before I apply any glue or nail in any nails. So let's get some glue in this and attach it with some nails. Alrighty, we're gonna get some glue here. Okay, I've got my glue on, and now I'm going to just place my bottom wing in that slot. Grab some small nails like the instructions say. And I'll get one in there. Okay. And two, right on, we got our bottom wing on. Let's put the body aside for a minute, and we will grab the wheel base plate and the wheel base itself. If you take a look at this base plate, it's got a little cutout right here. And then when I take a look at this wheelbase, you'll notice that it has a little tab that sticks up. When I put these two together, do you remember what kind of special joint that makes? If you said mortise and tenon joint, you are correct. So let's just get some glue on this and then we can put them together. We're gonna put a little glue on the shoulders of this wheelbase, just like that. Oh, I don't really need any glue on the top yet. I'll hold off on that. Okay, now what we can do is we can put our wheelbase plate on top like that, grab some small nails like the directions say. Okay, we've got the wheelbase structure put together. Now we can use the small nails and glue to attach the wheelbase assembly to the underside of the bottom wing. To attach this piece, you need to make sure it is somewhat centered. This is going to take a little estimating on your part. Let's get some glue on that. Okay. So first place the wheelbase assembly plate on the underside of the wing, just centered of the body. We need to compare the amount of space on either side of the wing. What we want to do is we want to make sure that they are very close to being equal. Well, I'm going to go ahead and nail mine in. Mine looks good. looks good. Okay, let's get the wheels on. First, we are going to take a little bit of glue and place it on the end of one of the long dowels found in our kit. So I'm just gonna take that glue and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the end there. I don't wanna put too much on, but enough that the wheel that we're gonna put on the end of this will most definitely get some glue on it. So then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna grab my wheel and I'm gonna carefully push it through the hole of the wheel, or grab my dowel, push it through the hole of the wheel. Now, if you have some excess glue there, it would be a good idea to take a paper towel and just get rid of that. Just like that. The reason being, the wheel is actually going to be going through this wheelbase, and we don't want any glue to be touching the wheelbase, because what will happen, it'll actually dry to the wheelbase, and then your wheels won't turn anymore. Now I'm going to carefully push that dowel through the wheelbase, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to take a little bit of glue and place my wheel on. So I'll grab my wheel, I'll grab some glue. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the dowel from the other side, or even from the middle. Makes it a little easier to get the glue on. Okay. And now I can take my wheel. I want to be careful I don't push from the other side, because I don't want to push that wheel off. I'll grab the middle there and I'm going to just go ahead and twist it into the spot. Oh, there we go. Check for some, if I've got any excess glue, I'm going to take my paper towel and try to grab that. There we go. Good. Clean now. All right. I've got my wheelbase on with my wheels. Look at that. Great, the plane's coming along all right. Okay, now we are going to glue and insert the wing support dowels into the 4 holes of the lower wing. You can see these 4 holes here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna take our remaining 4 long dowels. We're gonna take a little bit of glue and just on the end of those dowels, insert them into the plane. If you get a little bit too much glue on there, don't worry about it. We can just wipe that up afterwards. Now that we've done that and the dowels are sitting in there nicely, they may be a little loose, but don't worry. In time, as the glue dries, everything will stiffen up nicely. I'm gonna take my upper wing here and I'm gonna place it on top of these dowels. I want to remember that the upper wing goes on with this cutout facing the rear of the plane. So let's get some glue on the top of these dowels and we can put our upper wing on. Okay, when putting your upper wing on, it might take a little bit of lining up to get everything to go into the right spots, but be patient, you'll get it there. Okay, if you're having trouble getting those little dowels to go in, feel free to turn it over. You can take your hammer, be careful when you do this, and on top of every dowel, you can give a little tap, and that'll help to make sure that those dowels go right inside the holes they're supposed to. Now it's time to get the propeller installed. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the smaller dowel and just like before, we're gonna put a little bit of glue on the end. And that propeller is gonna go into the engine hole. Again, be careful if you have any excess glue. We don't want the propeller to get any glue on it because then the propeller won't turn. We gotta make sure our propeller turns. All right, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your propeller, that's gonna slide over top of that dowel. And you can see it turns. What we need to do is put our propeller cap on. That will make sure that propeller doesn't fall off. This here is our propeller cap. We're gonna put a little bit of glue on the end of that dowel one more time on the other side. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my propeller cap and just slide it on there. And once that's dry, the propeller won't come off. It'll still spin, but it won't come off. Next up, it's time to use the small nails and glue to attach the vertical tail to the horizontal tail. This part right here is our horizontal tail, and right here we have our vertical tail. So let's put our plane aside for a minute. When we take our horizontal tail right here and we put our vertical tail inside of it like this, the rear of the horizontal tail should come in line with the vertical tail, just like that. One more time. What kind of joint is this? We got a tab and we've got a hole. We've got a tenon, we've got a mortise, we've got a mortise and tenon joint again. Good. Okay, so let's get some glue on this. We'll just get the glue around that tab as well. Again, remember, when you put this together, the rear of the horizontal tail should come aligned with the rear of the vertical tail. All right, I'm gonna flip that upside down, grab one of my small nails. For this step, there is only one nail to put in. You'll see 3 pre-drilled holes. Don't put nails in all 3. You only need to put a nail in the hole that is just underneath that vertical tail. Now that we have our tail structure assembled, we can take it and nail it right onto the end of our plane. So let's get some glue on the bottom of this and we can nail it right down. Okay, I'm going to align my tail right on the end here, just like that. Now this can be a little tricky. What you can do is you can hang the front of the plane off of an edge like this, and it will allow you to have a nice surface to nail on. Or you can nail it like this, just be prepared that it might be a little difficult to nail. Okay, there we go. Looks good. Now all we have left to do is sand. After the glue begins to dry in about 1 hour, you can sand out any imperfections and rough edges with the provided sandpaper. Be sure to sand with the grain. See these lines right here? These lines are actually called grain. When we take our sandpaper and we sand in the same direction of that grain, it actually looks very nice. If we sand against the grain like this, what it does, it actually creates scratches. It looks like scratches. And we don't want to have that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand in the same direction of the grain, and that way any scratches that we do make won't be seen because they'll be hidden inside that grain. So let's go ahead and give this a really good sanding, and let's take a look at how you do when we're done. From everyone at Build It Yourself Woodworking, thank you so much for spending time with me to build this kit.
If you enjoyed building this woodworking kit, or know somebody else who would enjoy building a woodworking kit too, then visit us at www.buildityourself.ca to see all of our great woodworking kits.